Hello everyone, in this video I will explain the inner ways system in Where Winds Meet, which is a crucial system you have to interact with in order to increase your character's strength. I will show you how to unlock inner ways and what are the best inner ways for your build or playstyle. You can access the inner way menu from the abilities tab in the develop menu. The inner ways are essentially the passives that you can equip on your character, and you can have up to 4 equipped at a time, and you start off with 1 slot and unlock more as you level up. The main thing you have to understand about inner ways is that they can correspond to a certain build path. There are 6 total build paths currently in the game, and you can see them in the path guide screen. The same way that certain martial art combinations correspond to a certain path, each inner way can also correspond to a certain path. The exception being that inner ways have an extra path which is neutral, and you can identify it by this gray icon. All inner ways have icons on them and below their name that show what path they correspond to. When an inner way corresponds to a certain path, that usually means it has buffs that are related to one of the 2 martial arts in that specific build path. There are a few inner ways that correspond to certain paths, but they have generic buffs that can work with any martial arts, although these are very few. The inner ways that correspond to the neutral path have generic buffs that can work regardless of your equipped martial arts. For example, if we look at the sword morph inner way, we can see that it corresponds to the Bell Strike Splendor path, which uses the Nameless Sword and Spear martial arts combo. The effect of the inner way is specifically tied to the Nameless Sword charge skill, so this will have no effect if you don't use that specific martial art. If we look at the Morale Chant inner way, which corresponds to the neutral path, we can see that the effect is a generic damage and healing buff that can work with any martial art. If you see the icon of your preferred build path on an inner way, it most likely means that you want to unlock and equip that inner way, but that may not always be beneficial depending on your playstyle or what game content you are playing. Using Sword Morph again as an example, even though it's a recommended inner way for the build path I am using, I rarely have it equipped because the situations where I actually use my Nameless Sword charge skill are very rare, so I prefer replacing it with a different inner way that benefits me more. When deciding what inner ways to equip for your build, just think about what martial arts skills you use the most during combat and equip the inner ways that benefit your playstyle the most. Each build path has 1 legendary inner way and 3 epic inner ways, with the only exception being the neutral path, which has 2 legendary, 6 epic and 5 rare inner ways. In order to unlock inner ways, you have to select Comprehend Inner Way and then Comprehend Clue. Most of the inner ways can be obtained from doing side quests, with the exception of Moral Chant and Seasonal Edge, which can be bought from specific merchants for Echo Jade, and a few others which can be obtained by clearing specific Lost Chapter quests marked with a blue book icon on the map. After you select Comprehend Clue, you will usually get a very cryptic clue about where you can find the NPC or quest required to unlock the skill. Most of the time, it gives you the name of specific locations on the map, so you will have to go there and try to find the next clue, either by talking to all the NPCs in the location or just looking around for other clues. Sometimes you can uncover clues about various inner ways simply by exploring the world, in which case you will see more and more accurate clues in the clues list. The more clues you have unlocked, the closer you are to unlocking the inner way. Normally, when you finish the questline for the inner way, you get a book that you can use in the inner way menu to learn the skill. Sometimes you have to claim the book item from the journal menu, so pay attention to that as well to ensure you don't miss any skills. Now let's talk about inner way breakthrough. Same as any other skill in the game, inner ways can be upgraded up to tier 6, providing more and better buffs or stats. To check the upgrade tier details, select the inner way and press the inner way breakthrough button. Here you can check what each breakthrough level gives you, and you can check the upgrade requirements of the next available level. All inner ways require the same type of item to upgrade their tier, which is called inner way note. There are multiple ways to obtain inner way notes to upgrade your skills, but unfortunately the drops are mostly random, so you cannot really farm materials for a specific inner way, but there are other systems in place to help with that. If you select any inner way note, you will see all the ways you can obtain them, and we have the following. You can purchase 20 inner way note chests from the Zhao Feiyan NPC for 300,000 coins. You can purchase 40 inner way note chests from the season shop every week for 3000 jade fish. You will be able to farm them in the path trial mode, which is a feature that will unlock in the future in Taiping Mausoleum. You can obtain them from the tips exchange feature, which we will talk about soon. And the final and most important method to obtain them, which is from Energy Challenge gameplay, which means Campaign Challenge, Outposts and Sword Trials. If you go to the Wandering Paths menu and select Challenge, then select any campaign challenge, you can see in the rewards list that you get one Inner Way Note custom chest per reward claim. These Inner Way Note custom chests let you choose a path and you will get random Inner Way notes specific to that path. But there are also regular Inner Way Note chests that give you random Inner Way notes from any random path. You can farm Inner Way Note custom chests in all the available challenge modes, and some of them also give you bonus chests on the first weekly clear. Now, on the Inner Way screen, you can see two additional tabs, one for tips exchange and one for conversion. On the tips exchange screen, you can essentially recycle the Inner Way notes you have in order to obtain book tokens, which you can exchange for certain path chests that give you Inner Way nodes recommended for certain build paths. This is recommended if you really want to focus on upgrading the Inner Ways for your build path once you have fully decided on what path to follow. Moving on to the conversion tab, this is where you can directly exchange Inner Way nodes between two Inner Ways of the same rarity and same type. You can only exchange legendary with legendary, epic with epic, neutral path with neutral path, and specific path with specific path. Let's take a look at an example. From this list, I will select Invigorated Warrior, which is an epic and neutral Inner Way. Now, if I select the other slot, I will only see the other neutral and epic Inner Ways that I have unlocked. If I select Fury Harvest from the list, we can now see all the details of the exchange. You can see at the bottom that I am able to exchange 10 Inner Way tips for Invigorated Warrior, with 8 Inner Way tips for Fury Harvest. What this means is that I will end up with 10 tips for Fury Harvest and 8 tips for Invigorated Warrior. Essentially, the number of tips are swapping places when you perform this action. Also, the number of total convertible tips is also taking into account the tips you used to upgrade the tier of your Inner Way. For example, if you have an Inner Way of tier 2 and you want to convert it with an Inner Way of tier 0, you will essentially be able to convert the 20 Inner Way nodes you used to upgrade that one to tier 2 into 20 Inner Way nodes for the one that you have at tier 0, allowing you to upgrade it to tier 2 immediately. This system is more designed to allow you to change build paths, not necessarily as a method to gain Inner Way nodes. Note that you gain 4 free conversions and 7 total each season, so be careful about changing your build too often. Now that we covered almost all the details, what about choosing the best Inner Ways for your build? Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there are 3 main things you have to take into account when deciding which Inner Ways to unlock and equip first. Your build path, your playstyle, and the content you are playing. The first thing you want to do is look at your build path and check the 4 Inner Ways specific to your path. Look at their effects and see if they also fit your playstyle, so that you can utilize them at their maximum capacity. If your playstyle happens to also fit all the 4 Inner Ways for your build path, then you should unlock and use those for most situations. Secondly, you might want to change Inner Ways depending on if you are playing solo content, multiplayer content, or PvP content, because some effects are definitely more suitable for specific content categories. Lastly, of course, there are some generally good Inner Ways that you should use until you unlock the ones you actually need for your build path, or in case you don't want to use all 4 the recommended ones for your path. One of the best ones you can unlock early on is Morale Chant, which is a neutral path Inner Way that gives you a stacking damage and healing buff, which is good for any build and useful early on. You can purchase the necessary Inner Way pages to unlock this by visiting the Tang Bao merchant in Qinghe, located here. He sells all 10 pages needed to unlock the Inner Way for 500 Echo Jade each, so 5000 in total. After this, you can then visit the Tang Lun merchant in Kaifeng to purchase 10 Inner Way nodes to upgrade this skill to tier 1, which will cost another 2000 Echo Jade, so 7000 in total to get it to tier 1. It's important to at least unlock it, not necessarily upgrade it. Other neutral path Inner Ways you can use early on or as placeholder are Bitter Seasons and Seasonal Edge. Seasonal Edge can be purchased for 5000 Echo Jade from the calligraphy merchant in Kaifeng Fairgrounds. If you have trouble with finding and unlocking a certain Inner Way, you can use the in-game guide Q&A feature to ask about more direct clues on how to unlock the skill. That would be it for this video. I hope this helps you understand the Inner Ways system better and what Inner Ways you should use. If this video was helpful, please consider liking and subscribing because it helps me a lot. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.